everyone. This is Dr. Ritika Gauba, your one and only PhD mentor, advisor, and trainer. Over the last few weeks, we have released various videos where we are discussing about different aspects about the latest UGC regulation of 2022. We have spoken to you about who can pursue a PhD in India, old versus new guidelines. We have also spoken about the duration to pursue a PhD, also about who can pursue a part-time PhD and different aspects of part-time PhD as mentioned in these new guidelines. Last, we had released a video which you all liked the most, which was related to research papers not being compulsory in the new PhD guidelines. However, my team suggested that since we are an exclusive PhD channel and we are always here to empower our student with genuine, in-depth and well-researched knowledge, it is our responsibility to release at least one video which will give all the important points, all the highlights related to this PhD guideline, which goes by the name of Minimum Standards and Procedures for the Award of PhD Regulations of 2022. So if you are a research scholar, if you are a PhD aspirant, or if you are a faculty, then you should definitely watch this video, as in this video you're going to get to know all the important aspects, all the important points related to this latest UGC guideline. Without any further ado, let us start with highlight number one, which is eligibility to pursue a PhD as per the 2022 guideline. Now, there has been some major changes when it comes to who can do a PhD in India. Till now, only postgraduates with 55% marks were eligible to pursue a PhD. Of course, certain categories of students were given a relaxation of 5% in their final years, that is in their post-graduation marks. However, the majority had to get 55% marks and a post-graduation. In this regulation, four-year graduates with 75% marks are also eligible to pursue a PhD. In case in your four-year graduation, a student is not able to get a 75% marks, then they can simply do 1 year of post-graduation with 55% marks and they will be eligible to pursue a PhD in India. Now, if any one of you is thinking that why should graduates be allowed, or how can graduates pursue a PhD? Why was this change made? Then let me tell you one thing. Across the world, all the reputed universities allow graduates to pursue a PhD, and this is not something new or unique which UGC has done. It is actually following the norms of the industry across the world. So this should definitely be a welcome change for many students. From here we move on to highlight number 2. The admission process. Now, the first thing that you do when you are trying to apply for a PhD program is match your eligibility with that of the institute's requirement. Now remember, the UGC eligibility requirements are just the minimum requirements, and if a university wants, they can definitely make their requirements much more stringent. For example, there are many universities who say that you require a minimum of 60% marks in your post-graduation or 80% marks in your graduation, then only you can apply. Okay, so now when you matched your eligibility, the next thing comes is the entrance examination. So here UGC says that if you are UGC NET qualified, CSIR NET qualified, GATE qualified, SEET qualified, or any other national level examination you've given, then you can be exempted from giving the entrance examination. If not, then you have to definitely give the university's entrance examination. And of course, once you clear the entrance examination, or if you are exempted from the entrance examination, then the third part of the process, PhD admission process, is the PhD Viva, which each and every student, irrespective of your designation, your years of experience, your qualification, and the institute you are applying, you will have to face the PhD Viva or for your admission in your PhD program. From here, we move on to our highlight number 3, which relates to PhD coursework. As soon as you get admission in your PhD program, the first thing that you have to do is pursue a coursework. Full-time and part-time both have to do this. Now, two major changes have been made in the coursework. Firstly, UGC says that the research committee can now recommend UGC approved online courses as well as a part of the coursework. Secondly, UGC also says that students will now have to learn skills related to teaching, education, pedagogy, and writing. Besides this, if the research committee feels that they can also recommend 4 to 6 hours of teaching and research assistantship per week to a student. Now, the fourth highlight relates to duration of the PhD. UGC in this new guideline has spoken about a concept called re-registration. So even after a student has completed the maximum time period allocated to them, depending on the category to which they belong. For example, females get a maximum of 8 years, 8 months, and PWD candidates with more than 40% disability get 8 years, and all the others get 6 years of maximum time period to pursue their PhD or complete their PhD. Now UGC has said that if a person exhausts their total maximum time period, then they can re-register themselves for an additional 2 years of time. Obviously, this re-registration will be, you will be required to give some fee for this re-registration, and also permission has to be taken from your guide and from your research committee and maybe from other senior members of the university and the institute. But yes, there is a new concept of re-registration for a period of 2 years in this new guideline. Now, in case you want any more details about the duration to pursue your PhD, then for you, we've created an in-depth video where we clearly tell you what were the old regulations, what are the new regulations, how much time will each category of student get. From here, we move on to our sixth highlight, which relates to part-time PhD. Now, UGC in these new guidelines state clearly that all working professionals are allowed to pursue a part-time PhD in India, and all universities and institutions can provide a part-time PhD. Now, important thing to know is that people who are working can only pursue a part-time PhD. They have to mandatorily meet the eligibility criteria as specified by UGC and the university, and most importantly, an NOC will be required to pursue a part-time PhD. We have answered many questions related to part-time PhD in many of our several videos. We are sharing with you our latest video which relates to 10 facts about part-time PhD and also part-time PhD for working professionals. You can have a look at both these videos. I'm sure that all your questions related to part-time PhD will be sorted out once you've seen these two videos. From here, we move on to our next highlight, which relates to PhD through distance education. Now, PhD through distance education is strictly prohibited in India, whether this distance education PhD is being offered by any institute, any university within India, or through an edutech company or through an international university. In India, UGC has clearly said that any kind of distance education PhD is not recognized. Highlight number 7, the discontinuation of MPhil program. Yes, Master of Philosophy is no longer a valid or a recognized course and therefore cannot be offered by any university or institution. But don't worry, any program that has commenced prior to the enactment of these regulations, they will not be impacted by these current regulation. However, in future or after the enactment of these regulation, nobody can offer or pursue a PhD program in India. From here, we move on to highlight number 8, which relates to, and actually a very significant and important change too. It is colleges are allowed to offer a PhD program. Yes, you heard it right. Your beloved college can now also be allowed to offer a PhD program. So all the colleges who are giving a 4-year graduation program or a 2-year PG program will be allowed to offer a PhD program as well. Till now in India, if you do not already know this, only universities were allowed to offer a PhD and of course institution of national importance. But now colleges which are recognized or which come under the state and the central government will also be allowed, provided they have the required infrastructure in terms of the number of faculties who have doctorates, or they have a laboratory, or they have a library and any other infrastructural requirement which UGC has mentioned. So this college will have to go and take due approval to offer a PhD program from UGC, and if they do get the approval, then they can also offer PhD, which means that we will now have more number of seats to offer our PhD aspirants. So good news for all the students. Highlight number 9. Your process of evaluation and your PhD degree award should be completed within 6 months from the date of PhD submission for evaluation. That means if a student, whenever they submit their thesis for evaluation, university has to complete the entire process of evaluation as well as conduct the final defense viva and at least give a provisional degree to the student within 6 months from the date when he or she had submitted their thesis for evaluation. From here we move on to our highlight 10, which says that research papers are no longer required, are no longer a necessity to submit your PhD thesis. With this, we come to the end of this video. I hope you did find the video informative. If you still have any question, please put them in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe our channel, like our videos and share them with your friends. Also, in case you are looking for a PhD mentor, PhD guide, then you can get in touch with me on the number given below. This is Dr. Ritika Gauba, your one and only PhD mentor, advisor and trainer. Thank you so much for watching my videos.